Hi. Hello. Sorry. Welcome to Lunch Club. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me if you're using the original link or not, but I was really struggling there and I'm not quite sure what happened. So I apologize. I started the live stream at 10 and it basically just shorted out on me. So anyway, let's hang out. So today I am working on kind of organizing my gouache paints. Let's see if we can change the settings so you can actually see the colors. There we go, a little bit darker. But I'm mixing up some new colors. I thought we could do that together. I have a bunch of empty ones here, so those aren't just like blown out. They're actually empty. And then I have a painting that I want to start working on. Let's see if I can get this to focus properly. And then, yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you the drawing. Hi, Claudia. Hi, Candace. Did you guys use the original link? Thanks, Patty. I almost gave up. I was going to show you the drawing that I did. So I went hiking yesterday in the Marin Headlands. You used the original link. Weird. So weird. I don't get it. I went hiking yesterday in the Marin Headlands and came home and drew this on my iPad while I sat on the couch with Zero Energy. And oh, you used the second link. Weird. I mean, that makes more sense to me. But I wanted to do these big Douglas fir trees and like kind of show the hike that we did, or at least my memory of it. So I'm going to work on a painting of this. This is a little tiny hiker down here for scale. And in order to work on that painting, I wanted to mix up these paints. So just kind of so you know where my head's at. I was really excited about this painting. Last night I was like dreaming about it. There's these little bridges, like foot bridges that are supposed to go over streams. There's no actual water right now. And huge old cypress and Douglas fir trees. Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of play around with painting this. My initial response was like, I'm just going to draw it. And I like the drawing a lot and I'm probably going to finish it, but I'm definitely excited to paint it. So that's what we're going to work on. I already have the background down. So while we're mixing these, those will dry up. Or the background will dry up and we can start painting. So good to see you. Love the pattern and texture in the trees. Oh, thanks, Candace. I'm excited about that pattern and texture in the trees too. It was really so inspiring to go on this hike. We got this book of different hikes to go on. We almost always go on the same ones over and over again because we have dogs and I don't know, there's not a ton. The California State Parks, the way it works is they are protecting like snowy plovers and a bunch of different like endangered forest creatures. And so they try to restrict how many dogs or like dogs on trails and stuff. So we sometimes, or at least I feel limited in the places that we can go immediately around us. And then we found the Marin watershed area and you can go hiking up there and it's huge and you can bring your dogs. And we saw a ranger yesterday and she told us that she hikes with her dogs up there all the time. And the book we got has like a bunch of recommended trails and I'll tell you like easy to moderate or hard, or is there like tons of switchbacks or like whatever, just because I like to know what to expect. So that was really fun. It was really awesome to like hike that and come home and feel excited to draw. How's everyone doing? Anyone having some coffee? I'm going to be diligent about my coffee today. I almost always forget. Let's see. So for my colors, just to kind of share what I'm doing for my colors, I really want some more like blue greens. So these are like with Prussian, and a little bit of yellow and some Naples yellow. I also want some more mossy greens, and I'm also going to mix up a couple of like dusty lavenders in here because I was seeing a lot of that on the trail, and then some like terracotta pinks, which I have like kind of a pink here, but I'm going to use a little bit more like browns in the pinks to kind of make them a little dustier and a little warmer. Oh, iced coffee, Lupita, well done. And then Patty says it's noon here, so no more coffee for me. I'm on the all-day coffee train, Patty. And then Claudia says, oh, what book did you get? Was just talking to my partner about trying to go on hikes. Yeah, I'll message you. It's like called 101 Bay Area Hiking Trails or something like that. And it tells you like which ones are dog friendly. I know you guys have a pup. So yeah, Lupita, the trail we did was actually like 4 or 5 different trails to make like a big loop. And there wasn't a ton of like, elevation. There were no huge switchbacks. Dave's dad is super active, but he also has like a knee that can kind of be a little tricky. So we didn't want to do any like crazy switchbacks or anything like that. And he at the end said that it was one of his favorite hikes that he's done and he would like to do it again when he comes back. So that was pretty cool. And I'm trying to think of what the trail was, but it's in the Marin watershed area. So you could look that up, and all throughout the Marin watershed, like it's kind of like a 45-minute drive from where we are. So you kind of pass through Tamalpais State Park and then get there. And it's way up on the peaks. So it's a little warmer. It was really cool. Highly recommend. And highly recommend during the week. I think on the weekend it's pretty crazy. Like most places. We went, it was a Tuesday and we went early in the morning. Yeah, this pink is awesome. I might throw a little bit of red in here. So they're almost like brown pinks. I was seeing we found these one trees, and I want to do this like again and see if I can identify what trees they are. They had like really interesting leaves. I think they were bay trees, and the trunks were kind of like peeling. They were really cool. Let's see. What did you put in to make that pink? I made it using, let's see if I can remember. I used burnt sienna, pink. And this is like kind of a neon-y pink, so it's a little too much sometimes. And then Naples yellow and titanium white. And now I'm going to add a little bit of flame red to it. And I might have to find a different red that has more of a purple undertone, because flame red has more of like a orangey undertone. And then I add a little bit of honey, which, for long-time lunch clubbers, about this trick. But in case you don't, yeah, that red goes a long way. I'm going to have to add something to tone this down a little bit. I use a little bit of honey. So I just put a tiny bit in to make it, the honey makes it so that you can re-wet it really easily. And also kind of so it doesn't crack and dry out as much. So it kind of keeps it, keeping that like tacky feeling to it. Too much and it gets too glossy, in my opinion. So it's really a fine balance. But the more you do it, the more you can figure out what works for you. And I'm throwing some raw sienna in it. What I like about doing this is I'm really like mixing up a custom palette of like the colors that I'm seeing or wanting to use. I haven't done this in a while because I've been experimenting with all sorts of other stuff and client work, and it's just been a little bit weird over here. But I'm excited to remix these paints, and I'm so excited about this painting. let's see. So I kind of want like a deep maroon color. Let's see if I have. Oh, I forgot about this cobalt. It's dried out, I think. Maybe I'll show you how to reactivate dried out gouache. It's not the same, but it's good to know how to do it. Let's see, a little cadmium red deep, I think is going to be what we want. I'm going to do a little cadmium red deep. I'm going to do a little bit of burnt sienna. True. I'm going to throw a little bit of Naples because it makes it kind of dustier rather than like so dark. And then I'm going to see about a tiny bit of Prussian blue and see what happens. It's a little bit of an experiment, but it's also, you know, after years and years of mixing color, I kind of have a good idea of what colors I would bring together. This thing keeps sliding. I think that'll be okay. And that's kind of a lot of honey, but with so much earth colors, that's kind of the key. The earth colors really do dry out more than other colors. So I like to put a little more honey in with the earth colors. All right, that is an awful color. I'm going to throw a little flame red in. And I think, oh, I did find another one. What did you put in to make it pink? For the, oh, that was the question I answered before. Okay, cool. And it does take like kind of mixing it for a while for you to start to see the resulting color. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna try a little bit of black. This is not quite reaching the way that I want it to. Oh my God. It's almost reading like a brown. So I need to put like, I'll put some magenta in. I want it to be a little punchier than that. Yeah. We are problem solving, color mixing. Okay, I'm starting to see the pink and the magenta come through. We also stopped at this place called the Joinery in Sausalito for a beer afterwards. So Lupita or Claudia, if you go for that hike and want a beer afterwards, it was fun. Patty said, I've been meaning to ask, are you actually going to Cairo to do that mural? No, I wish. They couldn't afford to send me to Cairo and pay me for the actual work. So I gave them a couple of options. On like reflection, I think that I would have insisted on going in order to execute the mural. But I do think it's pretty neat that because I'm not going, they're going to be hiring local artists in Cairo to install the mural, and I'll get to like talk with them about their plans for installing it. So that's kind of neat. And it feels like a little bit collaborative. But I would have really liked to go. And I think in the future, just because I won't really have any like control over how the mural is executed, I think in the future, I would insist on going or not doing it. They have a good burger and fries at the Joinery too. Post beer hikes are the best. However, I almost always take a summit beer if it's a mountain hike kind of, or a mountain kind of hike. Ah, that's so good. I do love a summit beer. Dave's dad is really into hiking and very much loves a post hike beer. So we always stop with him. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to like once you reach like the halfway mark or whatever to like stop and appreciate how far you've gone, etc. Okay, I think I like this color better, but I'm sure I can find a way to use the other one. Let's do a little purple. Yeah, that's cool and will be interesting, is what Patty says. Totally agree. I think it will be interesting too. And, just like everything, it's a learning experience. Now I know how I would handle it differently next time. But I didn't know. I personally was like, yeah, I'm excited to take this on. It feels really exciting. So, I didn't know that I would prefer to go. Throw a little bit of white in, just because I want it to be a little lighter. Yeah. It's almost like raisiny. I feel like I want it to be a little lighter. Yeah, it was so much fun. I'm excited to try some new ones next week. Dave's got a new schedule now. For those, if I've mentioned it before, he bartends and he's been doing like 6 to 7 days a week for the last couple of months, and it's been a lot. And so he actually, this is the first time where he has like a pretty regular schedule, and it's 4 days a week. And so he has a couple days off during the week so that we can go hiking. So my hope is that on Mondays we'll start doing like a hiking day and try new spots, which is something we used to do a long time ago. We'd adventure to new places. And then we've been doing it off and on, but not with as much consistency as I'd like. Okay, so that's kind of I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like a purpley, like deep burgundy color. I kind of want it to be a little lighter, and it is pretty full. So I think what I'm going to do is actually snag some of it and bring it over into this pan, because I was saying I want some dusty lavenders. So I'm going to see if I can turn it into a dusty lavender. Oh, thanks, Lupita. Yeah, getting outdoors makes such a big difference, 100%. And it makes, I really feel like I'm so inspired when I'm outside and when I get to like go hiking. And I would like to get to a point where I'm camping by myself again if Dave can't go. Not that I wouldn't go with it. Like if he could go with me, that would be even better. But I would like to like be camping more and like not let me be by myself being like an obstacle to me going, or feel like I have to go with friends. I just love being in a place where I'm like really small, can be quiet. That's a cool color. So this was just with red, black, and magenta. And I'm really liking it. See how that's kind of like a dusty gray lavender. Kind of a mauve. It's not as warm. I might throw a little more red into it. But that black, depending on what black you have, it can really act like a blue. Like they have a lot of blue undertones in them. So you can kind of you can make some cool greens using black. Maybe we'll do that in a sec. That's a really pretty color. I'm going to go a little more of this. Bring it over. Yeah. There we go. So now you can see I added a tiny bit of red, a little more white, and then pulled a little bit more of that original color over. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'll lighten up this color over here. It's not quite what I wanted it to be. So using it, not wasting any paint to make something new. Okay, I put a good amount of white in here. So we have kind of like a terracotta type pink. I'm going to throw a little bit of blue in. Tiny bit though. Prussian is very potent. Let's see. Pink. Look, I spilled hot coffee on myself 2 weeks ago, and now it's peeling. So this is going to be my new skin. It's kind of crazy looking at it. I was looking at it last night and kind of tripping out. All right, I like that. A little more warmth, but I don't want red. Thanks, guys. Oh no. This is my monster hand. What's weird is the new skin, because it hasn't seen any sun really, has 0 freckles. That's what my hand normally looks like. It has a ton of freckles. Weird. I'm going to throw a little more honey in there because I think it's going to be real dry. And tiny bit of white. Different subject. I'm very enjoying the What You Mean What's a Zine book. Great subject, Patty. What are you liking about it? What's your favorite part so far? Is anyone else reading it? I'm so excited for us to do our book club hangout and make zines together, and then to share PDFs with all of you for those who want to make stuff. I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah. Cool. I think that's a great color. And then, let's see. We kind of have this burnt sienna, but I'm just going to throw a little more in there. Top it off. And then I'm also going to do just a pure black so I can make shades of each of these colors. And I'm going to do a pure white. Let's see, that sounds like fun. I've been reading a little here and there. I like all the different topics that people wrote about. I've laughed out loud more than once. They're so funny. Esther Pearl Watson and Mark Todd are hilarious and so involved with kind of like the illustration scene nationally, and like help with a lot of the different conferences and stuff that happened. Let's see. And I wanted to see all the different ways I make them. They make them. I just use the one piece of paper and fold it. So I'm going to try it other ways. Yeah. There's so many ways to do it. I always made booklets. And so when I realized I could just use the one piece of paper, there's something really cool about that. That's awesome, Patty. I'm so stoked you're liking it. Black. Let's see, Patty says, I'm interested to look at the zines on the web now that the internet is a thing. Yep, the old internet. Let's see. So I want like a real light kind of lavender. So I'll do, what is this? Cobalt, and maybe I'll do a little bit of pink. Just mix those together and see what it looks like. Catch a vibe. Well, the cobalt ate the pink, so we will use magenta. There we go. Magenta strong with that one. Okay, cool. The cobalt ate the pink. That'll be a pretty good zine. That'll be my narrative one. It's fun to think about like what type of like idea sharing you can do. And I love just like I read somewhere, like an artist that I follow, Chris Chow, she said, nobody makes zines because they're trying to make $1 million or they're trying to be rich. And I was like, that's so true. It's such a a passion project. Like, so you're doing it because you love it, or you're excited about the idea, or you want to share this like thought process. And there's something about that is just like, I want more of that. I think everyone is just always trying to figure out how to like optimize how much money they can make, and that stuff's important, but boy, does it get in the way of just harnessing good ideas for a little bit, or spending time creating those ideas. I think we get so worried about someone else having the same idea we're having that we don't even spend time figuring out if our idea is good, or giving it a chance to be something for a little bit. You know what I mean? Patty says I have so many ideas. I just think of them and write them down now. Yes. That's the best thing you could do. Keep them somewhere. Maybe let them live. Let's see. So I guess I want to do another kind of blue green, but I want to do it over here. And I want it to be real light. Light, light, light. Okay, a little more blue than that. I just get so nervous about Prussian blue because it's so, Jesus, it's so strong. Let's see. Just a little bit more. Okay. This sound is grating. I think that's a good amount of blue. All right, and then let's do, there's something about this white that is like too liquidy. Sometimes I just massage it a little bit to get some of that liquid to get back in its place. God damn it. Okay. I guess I'll do this. We're just going to do it a teeny bit at a time. Otherwise, we could get screwed. I think that's good. Yeah, that's what I want. I want it to be kind of on the cooler side, much lighter. I do think I need a little more blue. Okay. This is going to be tree lichen. Tree lichen green. Yeah. And I don't think I put any honey in it. I have been reading this mystery or listening to this mystery that takes place in Mendocino and San Francisco, but San Francisco not as much as Mendocino. And it is so cool. I'm really into it. I just forgot how much I love Mendocinos, like the coast, and thinking about the like big tides that happen and being in the woods. I just love reading about that area. It's awesome. All right, so this lavender is great. It's just maybe a little bit too cool. So let's do a tiny bit of magenta. And I want to add one of the things that I do with lavenders to make it so it's not so punchy. So I throw a little bit of yellow in because it's the opposite of the spectrum, right? That's how you neutralize colors. Throw a little bit of the color on the opposite end. Oh my God, I was like, what is that? It's the magenta. Nobody panic. It is too warm now. Hopefully you leave watching this recognizing and feeling empowered to mix your own colors and be as haphazard as you want, because that's what this is. What's the name of the book? I want to say it's called A Night Without Stars, but I don't hold me to that. I am bad at name. Oh, I can look at my phone. Oh my God. I can look at my phone. Hold on, Patty. It is called When the Stars Go Dark. So not A Night Without Stars, but When the Stars Go Dark. So me. I wouldn't say the book itself is like magnificent. I'm fine with maybe subpar books as long as the scene setting is good. I'm going to throw a tiny bit of yellow into this one because it's too much for me. Mm-mm. Let's see. A little bit of cobalt. Oh, this is the one that's dried out. Yeah. I can feel the rest of it isn't though, so we will do that. Joy. Hi, Joy. I got to meet Joy on Saturday because we did our drawing adventure day and it was so much fun. And Patty says, I used to camp in Mendocino when I lived in California a long time ago. It's beautiful. It is really beautiful. I've been to a number of weddings there, and Dave and I always prefer camping. So we've camped while attending weddings, and it's always just so much fun. It's so beautiful. I also just love those areas with like the crazy high and low tides, and where you get to kind of like see the part of the ocean that doesn't get seen a lot, if that makes sense. Okay, we are going to use you and a little bit of yellow. I don't know what this color is going to be, but I'm kind of just down to experiment. I need something a little gross. I think we got it. Yeah, that's the color I want. I want kind of like a Dijon mustard brown. Yeah, I'm listening to it on Libby. You know it. Libby's got it. Yeah. All right. So I took some of that, like, these two almost look too much the same. So I'm going to take a little more and put it over here and make more of this kind of like mustard color. I don't need two of those, you know. I'll do a little bit of black and a little more yellow. And my hope is the black will even increase the amount of green that we're getting in it. Yeah. So it's kind of like this mossy green brown color. I'm going to throw a little more yellow in. But the cool thing is this like pink mauve made it so that it's a little more muted. And I love this like acid yellow because it really makes these like gross puke greens, which I think are really awesome. All right, that is awesome. So this is the palette I've got. I'm pretty happy with it. I think what's going to happen is these two blues are repeats. So I'm going to try and use those or use one of them so I can get rid of the other one and maybe do a different like blue. I also wasn't super happy with this blue, but we'll see how it goes. A lot of times I start using it and I realize like what colors I like more and what colors I need to switch up, and I make adjustments accordingly, or just like mix them into the colors that I need them to be. I am really excited about that green. It's like really minty. So what we're going to do is I'm going to move this to the side and kind of clean this area up. And we are going to start painting. I keep all of these guys in a big old bowl so that I can reach them easier. I'm not sorting through all sorts of colors I don't need to get to the ones that I do. All right, so I'll put that up there. Put my honey away. And yeah, grab this. I'm also going to zoom us out a little bit so you can see a little more. Let's see if we can go up and down. Sorry, we're going to do some adjustments. Sometimes trying to adjust while looking at the screen is crazy making. Okay, so let's see here. Maybe we can grab one of these so I can make sure I can read it. I think that's good. All right. So I'm going to use one of these aqua colored pencils. This has been the real struggle for me when I'm doing these paintings, and I'm going to keep my drawing nearby. When I'm doing these paintings is that figuring out how to transfer them. I've done transfer paper. I've done, using the light box. I used to, with watercolor, almost exclusively do drawing directly on the paper. And I guess the reason I kind of moved away from that is because with gouache, I'm often like covering up all of the things that I just drew. But I'm going to try to do it a little differently. Like I'm going to try not to just cover up everything I draw and instead kind of Oh, I got like paint on my hand. I got a little bit of paint on me. Let me wipe this off. There we go. My hands are covered in paint. Oh my God. Just a little bit. I'm just using a damp towel to pull it off. All right, cool. Pretty cleaned up. I promised myself I'd be more focused on my coffee. So we're gonna heat this bad boy up. I bought a bigger thermos, which is gonna be arriving today, I think. Oh my gosh. I just watched a cat walk through our yard. Okay. So we're going to try it with this colored pencil. The other issue with using the light box is that I don't like painting with the light box on because it kind of, oh my God, how did that happen? What did I touch? Oh my God, you guys. This is classic. This is classic. A day in life. Oh, I think it's on my armrest. It's everywhere. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Well, no promises. I won't put that all the way away. Do we have it anywhere on here? No. Okay. The other issue with doing like a light box is that I don't prefer to have the light box on. And so then I'm really just drawing on the paper like this and then painting. So it's kind of like an in-between step. But I do like having things all the way drawn out. So I'm just letting myself not know what I prefer right now. And I'm just trying out all the things. I do feel like I'm in a place where I could be convinced either way. All right, so we're going to do this. This. And then this is where our little hiker is. So let's get them in there. I like the pink background. I think my natural tendency is to want to do like some sort of green, but I think what was cool about the pink is my hope is it'll kind of let me warm up some of the colors. So everything will feel really warm as I'm creating it. Shoes. A little backpack. The background is watercolor and gouache. So I'm like kind of, that's another thing I'm playing around with is really trying to focus on like letting myself start thin and then build color. Sharpen this a little bit. We saw a ton of scat on the trails yesterday, and I think that it was bear scat because there's a lot of berries and stuff. And coyotes and fox are all carnivores. So we were talking about that. When I was in Alaska, we saw a lot of bear scat. And so I'm pretty familiar with what it looks like, and it did look like that. Which I thought was really interesting because I think we think of, or at least I know I do, think of California as not really having a ton of bears anymore. So that was kind of interesting to be like, well, wait. Okay. So I want to get some of these main things down. I don't really feel like I want to draw the full thing out. I just want to like get some almost like markers for myself so that I can kind of remember where I'm headed. And then I'll keep this drawing for me to look at different stages. I've been thinking a lot about how drawing is like such an essential part of my practice. And it's really easy when we feel confused, or at least for me, to kind of like want to just rush past it and get to the place where I'm really excited about the painting part. But if I don't have like a solid foundation for the painting, the painting doesn't really do anything for me. And it's because the drawing part is really important. That's what I got into all of this with, and it's such an essential foundation of painting. And I think sometimes our excitement of the paint, at least for me, my excitement of the painting part gets in the way of me remembering that I need to focus on that. Okay, so I'm not going to even paint all that out. I am going to put some of these branches in. I'm also going to put some of these like rocks and logs. Oh, and I want to put this bridge in. It'll also be helpful to get some of the information behind this down. So I'm going to do that. Spend a little time with these rocks. There's a ton of moss on all the rocks near the creek beds, which is why I wanted so many different greens. And like warm greens and cool greens. I also wanted to kind of play with our sense of scale. And really showcase how big the trees are and how small we are within it. And then I think I will leave kind of like the pink space will be a little bit clearer for the trail. You know what I'm saying? So like there's going to be a lot of like clusters of rocks and brush and things like that kind of in these areas between where the trail is. And then where the trail is will be kind of more clear. And there might be like things blocking it a little bit because that's kind of how it works. And we'll have it be like this. Yeah. And we can do like, there were lots of trees that had like fallen over. We could do a big tree fallen over. And play with perspective. So we'll stick around here. So we'll start painting. So for the body, I kind of like playing around with color. I want to keep the person like kind of camouflage, but then we'll have like their hat be in red so they stand out a little bit. And just remember that these are all base layers. So we'll build them up. For the shirt. Oh. We'll do this light yellow. I like this little yellow. It's real nice. Real nice. Oh yeah. Dun, dun, dun. little cozy sweatshirt. Yeah. Where's my coffee? Come on, Linz. We said we're gonna drink it. I do like this terracotta pencil right now. I'm into it. I'm going to use a smaller brush. And for the hair, we'll do this like blue-green color. Okay. Oh my God, this is going to be the death of me. I have the messiest hands. Reminds me of the yellow. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Candace just received hers because mail getting things over to where she is takes forever. Wild. Yeah, the like banana yellow. I think they called it banana cream in the description. And then we'll do my favorite, a red hat. Yeah, a year and a half later. Totally. And we will do some red boots too. Worth the wait. Oh. Oh yeah, I wanted to do some, throw white down some more. Maybe I'll do it right there. Yep. I'm gonna see if I can lighten this a little bit. It might be a little easier to see. Mm-mm-mm. Now it's time to switch. So we'll just get some base colors down for different things. So First things first, this is kind of like mossy green color. And we'll do it for this big tree right here. I'm kind of painting it pretty thin because I'm going to build up color. And one of the reasons, I feel like most of you already know this, but one of the reasons I really like having more of like a colored ground for the painting is so that that color can start to be used as a tool to show through certain areas. So having that color kind of pop through in this green is a fun thing to play around with. And then do like that warm green. So I'm going to do this tree trunk, and I think we'll do it in more of a terracotta color. So not brown necessarily, but like a pinky brown color. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to use a bigger brush. And again, keep it pretty thin. Mm-mm-mm. That orange next to that green is very satisfying. The like mossy green or next to this one. Yeah. I think that this color palette's gonna be really fun. Let's see. Kind of want to do a base color for the stream so it sets it apart a little bit. So we'll do kind of a yellowy, maybe a tiny bit lavender. Yeah, there we go. I don't want it to be too crazy of a color, but I do want to kind of set the tone. That this isn't the trail, but actually more of a creek bed. And keeping it really thin makes it so I can see some of those drawings underneath, which is really handy. And see how the pink is automatically showing through and giving it this really warm tone to it. So I have been kind of like automatically using this blue underneath a couple of my last paintings. And it was almost like I was reverting back to like 2015 when I would use this blue all the time, and it gives like a really cool tone to everything I was doing. And it was like this weird headspace that I couldn't get out of, which is kind of hard to describe. But when you're working on paintings, a lot of times I think you get transported to these different like emotions or way that you're feeling during those paintings. And so when I was like continuously using this blue in the background, I felt like I felt 6 years ago when I was making those paintings, and I couldn't reconcile how that blue was making me feel and the way that I felt I had to paint and the way that I'm painting now. It was like this really weird, I couldn't figure it out. I could not sort out the difference, give myself permission for it to be different. So I intentionally chose pink this time as a means of kind of like breaking that up, and chose this terracotta color for the pencil because that's different than what I normally choose, and just am intentionally choosing colors that maybe feel a little more uncomfortable for me, like spending time like making some of these greens, like these blue greens. Those are greens that I don't typically use, and I want these like maybe more green blue or more warm greens. I think that that's going to be helpful for moss and stuff. But I also want some of these other colors that I think are going to kind of break me out of how I typically approach my paintings, or my need when I'm feeling uncomfortable to do the thing that I already continuously do. because I don't want to make those paintings anymore. I want to make my new work, which I'm really excited about. But sometimes it requires me like intentionally doing the opposite of what I think I want to do, because sometimes what I want to do has very little to do with what I actually need to do. Does that make sense? So color choices help me with that. Oh, I forgot to finish that side of the tree. I'll do some of these rocks. More like lavender. Lapita says, so interesting. It's so hard to work outside of our comfort zone. Gives me hope it's possible to work with other colors. Claudia says, I got to run to take a call, but this was so fun. Had some time to finish my drawing from Saturday's drawing date. Yay! Bye, Claudia. It was great to hang out with you. And it was really fun seeing you on Saturday. I agree, Lupita. I think that, I think the thing that is really valuable that I keep coming back to is that, like, we are hopefully always finding new ways to be uncomfortable. And I've been working on this body of work, not particularly this painting, but like trying to figure out what this body of work is going to be, right? And it's taken me a while to kind of like set aside how I typically approach making paintings, which has been really hard. It's not, it's taken a lot of time, which is hard sometimes to accept because we want to do things quickly or move through to the fun part, right? But yeah, little tricks like that help me for sure. Like, okay, well, if I don't want the same results that I've always gotten, I'm going to have to do some things that are very different. I can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results, right? That's like the old saying. I'm going to do a little more drawing. So this is almost like more like a blue, but I'll try it anyway. Oh, it's already 11:32. Well, I'm really sorry I ended up messing up the link. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna try not to do it again next time. I feel like I pressed the wrong button or something. But yeah, this was really fun. I hope you like again. I hope you feel inspired to mix up colors and get comfortable with maybe trying some colors that feel uncomfortable. Thanks, Patty. Also, that ends well. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on how this painting is going. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty uncomfortable, but that's a good thing. I hope everyone has a good rest of the day, and I will sort out what link worked. If you could just comment on the post that you used the link for so I can make sure I don't delete the one that works. Do you know what I mean? All good. This was so lovely. Looking forward to tuning in again. Going to take on the challenge and use pink this week. All right. All right, Lupita, let us know how it goes. All right, cool. Well, I will hopefully be talking to you soon, and maybe you go out and get a hike in or a walk and then come home and draw and keep drawing. All right. Bye, everyone.